Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. On behalf of our director, Gary Gillette, members of the Missoula City Band, this is Bill Rhodes saying welcome to our second performance for the 2017 season. It's good to see you all here. Let's see, today is going to be circus night with rising costs and lowering attendance. The Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus closed May 21st, 2017 after 146 years. So we're going to have a program of circus marches, also known as screamers, waltzes and gallops to honor the passing of a profoundly American institution. Gosh, you can almost smell the sawdust. Just wait. Mr. Gillette, let us start things off with the playing of our Star Spangled Banner.
Hey, you heard a little bit before the show. We'd like to bring out these Missoula Suzuki strings and play a couple of tunes for you. Welcome the Suzuki strings to the stage. The Missoula Suzuki Institute will be here in town in a couple of weeks, and this is a promo for them. They're now owned and run by the Missoula Symphony Orchestra. And this is Sylvia, and we have a little taste of Suzuki strings. I've got a soft heart. One of my kids did the whole Suzuki thing. It's a great way of learning music. Enjoy some sweet music by some youngsters. circus. Thank you so much. I like that.
Well, we've got a few announcements to make. Visiting tubist George Washington is with us tonight. George is quite possibly the most elder statesman of all intermountain tubists. I'm not really sure what that means, but...
He's old! My God, he's old!
No, I get the old part. What's an intermountain tubist?
Intermount, of the Inland Empire.
Oh,
The geographic, talk to that other player. Yeah, all that,
anyway, I read what's handed to me. Also, you know, we're going to talk a little bit about the Windjammers. What we're doing tonight is what they do all the time. Play fast circus marches, lots of notes, and they're keeping this music alive. And, you know, we also have somebody here who has played often in the Windjammers. We got Mary McCain from California with us, visiting us. You gotta have some chops to play that stuff. And now, we need to know a birthday person, a young gentleman named Dutch Meyer. He's gonna have his birthday tomorrow and he's gonna be 81 years young. Where's Dutch?
Dutch here? You can't, they're right there in the front row.
There he is. Happy birthday, Dutch. We're gonna serenade you. You can blame Joel later on for that, Dutch. Next up is Bravura. It's a staple of circus marches. Charles Edward Duple was an American band musician, composer. He played for 20 years in circus bands, starting as a trombonist with the Sun Brothers Circus in 1909, and finally under the baton of legendary Merle Evans with the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus. Merle Evans directed the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus for 50 years from 1919 to 1969. He was an amazing man. He would direct with his back to the band, playing his cornet with his right hand and conducting with his left. He would look at the acts, never look at the music because he always had it memorized, and pace the music to the act. Phenomenal, phenomenal man. Anyway, here's a great march, Bravura by Charles Edward Duble. Carl King was a self-taught man. He left school after the 8th grade, taught himself music composition, and after the 8th grade, almost everything else. King had published more than 300 works, including gallops, waltzes, overtures, serenades. I didn't hit the return key. Rags, and 188 marches and screamers. It could be said that King did for the Circus March what Sousa did for the Patriotic March. In an interview in the last year of his life, I believe he died in 1971, King stated his proudest moment was conducting the Barnum Bailey Band in Madison Square Garden. Well, this is his march. There were 3 Madison Square Gardens. I think this was the second one. But he called it the new Madison Square Garden, and it was written in about 1926. This is Carl King's new Madison Square Garden March. Well, circus music is famous for its marches or screamers, its gallops, its fast music. They also had waltzes that they would use, mainly for aerial trapeze artists, aeronautics. What am I looking for? Trapeze.
I knew that's where it was.
There's a very famous waltz written by Emil Waldteufel.
What's that?
Emil Waldteufel. Uh, he was born in Alsace, a region of France, which was taken away after they lost the Franco-Prussian War. And his last name translates as forest devil or wood devil, Waldteufel. Yeah, it would probably preclude him from ever being a substitute teacher. Hi, boys and girls. Your teacher's gone today. I'm Mr. Wood Devil. It just wouldn't work. Kids can be so cruel. He was the second most popular writer of waltzes after the famous Austrian Johann Strauss Jr. This is his España waltz, which translates as Spain waltz, in case you didn't know. Bring your kids. This is an educational program. España.
No repeats, yes, we see. No repeats, yes, we see. You sing.
We all have a little more respect for Andre Roux after that, Mr. Gillette. That stuff is very hard to play. Yes, yes. We're going to send our Band-Aid folks out amongst you good folks. And people have often asked me, what's the guidance for this? Think car payment. That would help immensely. Car payment. Or root canal.
This can't get white minivans for nothing.
We have another Carl King again, the maestro of the circus, screamer of the circus march. This is a gallop. Now, a gallop is the precursor to the polka, so it's very, very fast. Hence the name gallop.
People should figure that last one faster.
A quicker ending to it would have been, yes, yes. Excellent format for the circus. Here is Circus Days by Carl King. Now, I couldn't find out when this march was written. It was probably written in the 20s, since that's when most of the circus march music was written. This is The Huntress. This is a very melodic tune. I just love the trio in it. And it is also by the indomitable, indubitable Carl King of the Fort Dodge Municipal Band. He ended up in Fort Dodge, Iowa. He had his own publishing company, which was bought by Barnhouse, and he stayed in Fort Dodge, Iowa, and pretty much conducted right up until his passing. He was quite the guy, and he died at 81, I believe. Anyway, this is The Huntress.
81?
I take it back, it was 80. You got him beat, Dutch. Well, I'm sure you're all going to recognize this next number. We got Send in the Clowns, a song written by Stephen Sondheim for the 1973 musical The Little Night Music. It's a ballad from Act Two in which the character Desiree reflects on the ironies and disappointments of her life. Gary does that often too.
Full-time job.
But he can't sing with it. It became Sondheim's most popular song after Frank Sinatra recorded it in 1973 and Judy Collins' versions charted in 75 and 77. It has become a jazz standard. Now, we got to feature a guest tenor sax soloist. This gentleman's name is Neil Welch. He's a jazz player from Seattle, visiting his buddy and new city band trumpet player, Bill Kautz. Yes, where's Bill? There he is. So, Send in the Clown with Neil Welch.
Good things can happen late at night. Oh my gosh, what a player. And you know, the sweet thing about Sending the Clowns and the circus tied to it is that the lyric is all about a trapeze artist who is laying crumpled up on the ground, waiting for the clowns to come in and draw attention from the fact that she missed her ride. All right, so take a look at the lyric sometimes. We just did a jazz arrangement of it, but the lyric is all about this poor trapeze artist that missed the catch. That's a sweet song. Made sweeter still by Neil. Thanks, buddy.
And I'd like to point out that what arrangement is written by our own band arrangement, Mike Rosmarski. Hey, Mike. There he is. Nice job on all of it there. Our next march, or screamer, is Burr's Triumphal March. Russell Alexander was born in Nevada, Missouri, and became a euphonium virtuoso who joined the circus band of Belford's Carnival at the age of 18. At 20, he became an arranger and euphonium soloist with the Barnum and Bailey Circus Band. Sadly, he died of tuberculosis at the age of 38 in 1915, and although his compositional output was relatively small, he is considered a great composer of marches, especially for the shows and the circus. This is Russell Alexander's Burr's Triumphal March. Frederick Alton Jewell, sometimes called the March King of Indiana, was a band teacher and composer. The pinnacle of his success was as leader of the Barnum and Bailey Circus Band from 1908 to 1911. Also led other circus bands and community and shrine bands. Jewell published in Oskaloosa, Iowa, and later, from 1920, from Worthington, Indiana, where he was born and he died. He wrote nearly 200 works for band, mostly marches. His most famous include E Pluribus Unum, Quality Plus, the Old Circus Band, which we're going to play for you tonight, Supreme Triumph, and Radio Waves. All are still active marches in better grade, community, and military bands, of which we include ourselves. Better grade, Mr. Gillette. Do you like that phrasing?
I like that. Very nice. She's a lady of quality.
Well, there it is. Quality plus. We're going to play this. The Old Circus Band. As school bands got more popular, and Fred Jewell was the director of that, he realized he couldn't keep writing these grade 4 and grade 5 difficulty marches, and he would lower them down to maybe 2 or 3 so the school kids could play them. And he would use his last name as the new author of these things, so he would call himself J.E. Wells. Jewell, Jewell. So if you get a J.E. Wells march, it's a Jewell march, but it's easier to play. We should try to find some of those. Oh my goodness, we have a waltz, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll do better, I promise.
That's not setting the bar very high. Gary, that's an easy promise, honestly. All right. We have Sobre las Olas, or Over the Waves, his best known work of Mexican composer Juvencio Rosas, who lived from 1868 to 1894, died relatively young. It remains one of the most famous Latin American pieces worldwide, according to Latin America article in the Oxford Companion to Music. I'm going to dedicate this to George Washington, and after we're done playing it, I am going to tell you why. So, sort of like Trump, we have a big surprise with the health care bill. We're going to keep everyone in suspenders.
And on that last waltz, if you felt that maybe for a bit it was uncomfortable, like, oh, the band's playing lightly. No, that's because I lost my way in the form and I gave them the wrong instructions. So everything is fine this time. I'm going to try to do right.
had a friend that, well, we took up a friendship in the 7th grade, and it still continues. But every time Mark heard this tune, or whatever, he would start singing, George Washington Bridge, George Washington, Washington Bridge. George, join in when you feel comfortable. Bridge, George Washington, Washington Bridge. Okay, so I don't know if he ruined it for me or not, but I don't think of Mexico, I don't think of waves, I think of Fort Lee, New Jersey, and Chris Christie now. I don't...
But now we can get George Washington.
So, but it does work. So hopefully it won't remain in your brain as it has been stuck in mine for, how old are you in the 7th grade?
A long time. More than 60.
50 years? Yeah, 50 years. George Washington Bridge.
We're going to jump to one of the skip back.
Probably the most famous circus march by the most famous circus march composer, Carl King, is indeed Barnum and Bailey's favorite, and we are going to play that for you. First of all, before we go though, I'd like to have a shout out to our saxophone soloist. What a great job. Neil Welch. A big hand out to Mike Rosbarsky and his arranging skills. Wonderful job. Jay Straw and High Tech Audio, who tries to make me sound good. What a great guy. And of course, our friends from MCAT who record these so that you can revisit them.
Ron Scholl on it.
Ron Scholl. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We're now going to finish up with probably the greatest circus march, Barnum and Bailey's favorite by Carl King.
will also be at the Missoula Fairgrounds on Tuesday evening for 4th of July. It's not at the mall. The mall is sponsoring him, but we'll be at the fairgrounds on Tuesday. So take your pick. We'll see you. Say again? Oh, same time. So the program starts at 9. We'll start playing at 9:30, and they'll start blowing up stuff at 10:30. All right? Great. Thank you.